So I have this pair of jeans with buttons on the fly. It takes me like 15 minutes just to use the restroom when I wear them. It makes me wonder, why would we revert to an outdated technology? Why struggle with buttons when we've already invented the zipper? Why go back? In the same way, people today are glued to their phones. Telephones revolutionized communication, yet now we find ourselves hostage to endless communications and text chains. We have instant voice transmission technology, but instead of speaking directly, we text all day, missing the world pass us by. We've surpassed the telegraph, so why are we going backward? For over a decade, between the Obama and Biden administrations, we've been submerged in policies from the left. We've watched as our borders were infiltrated by gang members, child traffickers, drug smugglers, and the mentally unstable. Inflation has battered our bank accounts. We don't need statistics to know how much harder it's been to put food on our tables. Censorship has surged, pushing our country into chaos because of this misinformation. Why would we choose to return to these destructive policies? Kamala Harris even admitted that she had no policy that would differ from the current administration. This proves that it doesn't matter who the figurehead is. The agenda is going to be the same thing. These powerful elites push these policies that don't benefit the American people, but they only serve their own interest as they swap positions and payments for their own gains. These policies like student debt relief were found unconstitutional, but it's not about the Constitution to these people. It's about accumulating power. The Constitution is the backbone of our country. Without it, there's no limits to what the government can take from us. Yet these politicians bypass our founding documents, leading our country into a place that's hard for us to even believe in. These elites have been so entrenched in their propaganda that even the safety of our children seems irrelevant to them. Over 325,000 children have been lost over the border under Kamala's watch. Meanwhile, the media sensationalizes gun violence while ignoring the overwhelming transgender roots behind the mass shootings. The left pushes these dangerous ideologies onto us, often at the expense of our kids' mental health. We've witnessed firsthand the effects of these policies. We felt the weight of incompetence as we watched in horror as our hard-earned resources were squandered, spreading chaos globally. We need a strong leader to restore our standing, not one who's going to turn our country into a global laughingstock. These poor decisions have cost American lives, both soldiers and civilians. And whether it's foreign policy or disaster relief, the current leadership has failed us repeatedly. These policies have proven time and time again to be failures. America responded with overwhelming defiance to tyranny. No, we will not be invaded. No, we will not perpetuate these endless wars. No, we will not pay for these programs handed over to the UN for free. No, we will not be taxed into poverty. No, we will not cripple our power grid and hasten our country's decline. We want an American first policy. We want Donald Trump and his team to enact real change for our country. Despite being outspent by the elite class in every swing state, Trump still won. We overcame the influence of celebrities, special interest groups, and a corrupt judicial system. Even the powerful figures in Epstein's circle couldn't silence us. Non-citizens voting, corrupted ballot machines, and the Colorado Secretary of State leaking the password. None of this could stop the red wave that swept the nation. And Trump never shifted his policies to the center to get more votes. He stood his ground, fiercely opposing the destructive policies of the left. He battled against corrupt government organizations, fake news, and violent rhetoric, and even facing attempts on his life. President Trump still stood up and assured us that he would never stop fighting for us. The American people responded in overwhelming numbers. We left no room for lies of politicians or fake news propaganda. We crushed the popular vote. There's no need for recounts in an election that's too big to rig. The American people have issued a clear mandate. We demand that our borders be secured. We demand the deportation of violent criminals from our streets. We demand that our taxes be spent on our infrastructure and our citizens. We demand energy independence and freedom from the chokehold of our energy production. We demand truth from our media, not the propaganda propagated by Obama's Smith-Munn Act revisions. We demand consequences for these platforms that use censorship to silence our First Amendment rights. We demand accountability from our representatives and a fair judicial system free of political bias. We demand healthy food and transparency in our medications. We demand clean air and water, free from hormone-disrupting chemicals. There are no more questions. The American people have spoken. We will hold these politicians accountable. We can no longer afford empty promises from those who govern us. We must act to restore our country to its former productivity. But for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to ask the question, where do we go from here?
Rise up, open eyes, let the truth be told. In the face of deception, don't let the heart grow cold. For the fight is just beginning, we're stronger than they know. United, undivided, our light will surely show.